Welcome to another edition of Smart Chat here on YouTube.com. I hope all is well, and I thank you for taking the time to look at this video. Check out my other two channels, the Tom Brand 1 and Tom Brand 1 Thoughts. They're funny, I promise you. Do want to do a quick video on Raw Thoughts from Halloween, October the 31st of 2016. And these thoughts are in no particular order whatsoever. Just some of my random thoughts here. The team of Gallows and Anderson defeated Big Cass and Enzo, Hell in a Cell, yesterday. So you figure that they could keep going on that momentum in Gallows and Anderson. And this match, you knew there would be some type of wacky stuff going on, because this was basically like a Halloween type themed match where anything goes, but it was a one-on-one. And after the win in Gallows and Anderson, Hell in a Cell, you thought that they would be able to get that momentum going, but it just wasn't the case. It was quite honestly embarrassing. There's a spot there where Enzo, because he's going up against Gallows one-on-one, where Enzo dunks Luke's head in a bucket of apples on the outside of the ring. And you could see it, the beauty of high definition TV, as he's in the bucket of water with the apples. Gallows sticks an apple in himself, because obviously that's what the spot called for. Then Cass, Enzo rather, or Cass, one of the two, put a pumpkin on Gallows' head, and they couldn't get the pumpkin really on his head. So Gallows kind of forces the pumpkin on his head. That way they could do a spot there. And listen, it's just really, I don't know, embarrassing, I guess. They really don't know what to do with Gallows and Anderson. They're making them look silly. I thought when they came in, they would be just a badass team. And it hasn't worked. As is the damage way too far already for this team of Gallows and Anderson. I mean, geez. I mean, come on. If you have high def TV, you've seen that spot. It's just embarrassing. They were just made to look a fool in Gallows and Anderson. I mean, yes, you're getting a paycheck. You're being on TV. You're a star. Everyone knows you for being on TV. But it just was embarrassing. I just felt so bad for Gallows. I mean, yes, keep in mind he did play Festus, but WWE will want you to forget that. And just like where this team was, and Gallows and Anderson and New Japan dominating in New Japan, and then coming over here and just look silly. I wonder when they were now over there in New Japan, if this is what they had envisioned, if this is how it would begin. Yeah, it's just been horrible. I mean, listen, I think Anderson, between Gallows and Anderson's a little bit better of the two. I mean, I think were taken a little bit more seriously when they were with AJ Styles. Ever since they were split up from AJ Styles and AJ Styles went to SmackDown, it has not helped Gallows and Anderson at all. Finn Balor being not on the roster and being injured. But even then, maybe they could have paired Balor with Gallows and Anderson Bullet Club, but it seems like even for that brief, it seems like they're steering away from the Bullet Club type faction. It's just real sad, I mean, for those two. Speaking of which, now a lot of people, you've seen that segment where Goldberg spears Paul Heyman and Goldberg jackhammers Rusev. A little bit of Goldberg was a little bit two left feet in the ring, so to speak, tripping and falling in that exchange. So much so where WWE, from what I was reading, cut that part of it out from like international broadcasts and international highlights and on Hulu. So they cut that off because Goldberg really didn't look too well. Listen, all I gotta say about this, it is, and to his defense, like Goldberg tweeted, it is ring rust. He hasn't been in the ring in 10 years, 12 years, so it is ring rust. A little bit of the nerves, a little bit of the adrenaline. I could understand why WWE would want to edit that out. Don't want to make Goldberg look like that. I mean, you've seen it on live TV. You don't want him to look silly. But, I mean, it was adrenaline, his first time doing any type of action, long periods of time. So give the guy some slack. But I was reading something today, like, that he hasn't even been training in the ring, I think, when he was speaking with Booker T on his podcast. If that's the case, Goldberg, you really do need to train. You don't want to put up a stinker. Don't want to embarrass your legacy. Got to give him a slide. First time on live TV in a very long time. But if he's not training, then he really needs to be training. I don't care how long you're doing it before. You got to really to be training. Now, you don't embarrass yourself and don't embarrass your legacy. Speaking of embarrassing, man, that Charlotte basically embarrassed Bayley. Charlotte's mic work, again, is impressive, on point. I think of the four horse women, is it Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks and Charlotte and Bayley. I think Charlotte is far and away moved past Sasha Banks and past Becky Lynch. Charlotte knows how to cut a promo. She is able to interact with the crowd. And, she goes back and forth. She clearly embarrassed Bayley when she said, to the point of, Bayley, listen, you look like a little kid dressing as a wrestler. You are the weakest link in our team, and the team being referred to as the Survivor Series team representing the women's division going against SmackDown Live. She embarrassed her with that with that back and forth. She is very good on the mic, and she's a natural heel. Sasha Banks, it just always seems to have the same type of promo week in and week out of how she, this has been her dream for many years. She idolized Eddie Guerrero, blah, 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 blah. She really hasn't, like Sasha Banks, she really doesn't change her promo. It's the same thing. Charlotte Flair, Kevin Owens, these type, their promo is constantly different. And, in this case, that's why I think Charlotte is better right now than Sasha Banks. Charlotte winning the strap again. I see this going back and forth, that rivalry between Charlotte and Sasha Banks, the title changing hands. Charlotte was named the captain for the women's team. Interesting note, though, that Becky Lynch, who's the women's champion on SmackDown, wasn't named the team captain. Rather, Nikki Bella was. Suspension of disbelief. Ain't the best of the woman the one that's wearing the strap? She is the champion at that point, at that time. Why ain't she the captain and Becky Lynch? Bayley, this is clearly going between, I think, Bayley. They're going to try to make her out to be the weak link. And maybe in Survivor Series she does wonders, does magic. But clearly she's being made to look as the weak link. She had a match against Nia Jax. First time you've seen Nia Jax in a while. I said it before that it's probably just a focus on Sasha and Charlotte for the weeks prior. But now that feud is over, Nia Jax is back. Bayley did lose, but she did get some offense in, which I think is good too. It doesn't hurt Nia Jax, and it shows that maybe Bayley should be taken a little bit more seriously because she put up a good effort. Braun Strowman is the fourth member for Team Raw. It's going to be Jericho, Owens, Reigns, and Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman is a guy, I think, that people really don't want to boo. I think Braun Strowman could be kind of like a monster that just demolishes, faces and heels. I don't think people want to boo this guy, honestly, Braun Strowman. I know the Raw is a little bit cheesy for me, at least, but it's going to be interesting to see how they book him going forward in Braun Strowman. Something I didn't like, a segment that I didn't like, is when the New Day was out there and they were cutting the promo. And they pretty much, there was a line there where they pretty much said, well, I don't even watch SmackDown Live. I get it, they're the New Day, they're supposed to be ragging, supposed to be goofing on the other teams, tag teams from SmackDown. But just my little pet peeve, SmackDown, you've known for many years, had this problem of getting viewers. People for many years never really watched SmackDown. They only watch Raw. They're trying to get people to watch SmackDown again. New Day shouldn't be saying that. You should not be saying that you don't watch SmackDown. Just my pet peeve there. That's pretty much it. Last thing here, the Cruiserweight division, again, it's really where they place this Cruiserweight division, it really doesn't help matters. It should be really towards the first match on Raw. That's where it should be. They're not doing it any favors. But right now, I think for this to go over, they're clearly putting all their eggs in the basket in the feud between Perkins and Brian Kendrick. They've been trickling in other guys, but for this Cruiserweight to gain some interest and for people to start being into it, it's really contingent upon this feud, because that's what they're focusing between Kendrick and Perkins. So far, the audience does not seem to really care. They really don't. Perkins, with his video game theme coming out there, it's not helping matters. Kendrick is getting a splattering of applause. They really need to do something, because it's been a couple of weeks and this Cruiserweight division has not been picking up any steam whatsoever. I hope all is well, and I look forward to speaking to you very, very soon.